Timpunasi Sokode, no Akanchra Katabin say you, what you can say, Kwabena, Kaja Gumamianko. Bobie Ansah, Berma Bemeti Garafru Kube Puntimpunasi Sokode, no Akanchra Katabin say you, what you can say, Kwabena, Kaja Gumamianko. Bobie Ansah, Berma Bemeti Garafru Kube Puntimpunasi Sokode, no Akanchra Katabin say you, what you can say, Kwabena, Kaja Gumamianko. Bobie Ansah, Berma Bemeti Garafru Kube Puntimpunasi Sokode, no Akanchra Katabin say you, what you can say, Kwabena, Kaja Gumamianko. Bobie Ansah, Berma Bemeti Garafru Kube Puntimpunasi Sokode, no Akanchra Katabin say you, what you can say, Kwabena, Kaja Gumamianko. Bobie Ansah, Berma Bemeti Garafru Kube Puntimpunasi Sokode, no Akanchra Katabin say you, what you can say, Kwabena, Kaja Gumamianko. Bobie Ansah, Berma Bemeti Garafru Kube Puntimpunasi Sokode, no Akanchra Katabin say you, what you can say, Kwabena, Kaja Gumamianko. Kwabena Bobie Ansah. Berema be meti gara furu kube puntim punasi sokode. No wakanchira katabin say you. What you can say? Kwabena, keja guma mnianko. Kwabena Bobie Ansah. Berema be meti gara furu kube puntim punasi sokode. No wakanchira katabin say you. What you can say? Kwabena, keja guma mnianko. Kwabena Bobie Ansah. Berema be meti gara furu kube puntim punasi sokode. No wakanchira katabin say you. What you can say? Kwabena, keja guma mnianko. Kwabena Bobie Ansah. Berema be meti gara furu kube puntim punasi sokode. No wakanchira katabin say you. What you can say? Kwabena, keja guma mnianko. Kwabena Bobie Ansah. Berema be meti gara furu kube puntim punasi sokode. No wakanchira katabin say you. What you can say? Kwabena, keja guma mnianko. Kwabena Bobie Ansah. Berema be meti gara furu kube puntim punasi sokode. No wakanchira katabin say you. What you can say? Kwabena, keja guma mnianko. Kwabena Bobie Ansah. Berema be meti gara furu kube puntim punasi sokode. No wakanchira katabin say you. What you can say? Kwabena, keja guma mnianko. Bobie Ansah. Berma be meti gara furukube punti mpunasi sokode. No wakanchira katabin say you what you can say. Kwabena, keja guma mni anko. Bobie Ansah. Berma be meti gara furukube punti mpunasi sokode. No wakanchira katabin say you what you can say. Kwabena, keja guma mni anko. Kwabena Bobie Ansah. Berma be meti gara furukube punti mpunasi sokode. No wakanchira katabin say you what you can say. Kwabena, keja guma mni anko. Kwabena Bobie Ansah. Berma be meti gara furukube punti mpunasi sokode. No wakanchira katabin say you what you can say. Kwabena, keja guma mni anko.
Facebook page Fiagbe Oyibo Waten wait for Hussein Idris is here on Facebook. Mediana Nana Kwabena Bobie Ansah, the old soldier, the old lion, the last man standing, Commander Boam is here. Destiny and your name. Watching us live from Pong. Amenya Glopo. Hussein Idris. Ayana Ishaku Awa. Abba. Agambila. Jigbodila. SK Ando. DJ Tijani Bamba Gempa Ajabiok. I'm grateful. This is the Citizen Show. Monday afternoon.
Nana Kwabena Bobie Ansah. Berma be meti gara furukube punti mpunasi sokode. No wakanchira katabin say you what you can say. Kwabena, keja guma mni anko.
All right, so that's it. Baby biamu biane yedamwase. Friday, Saturday. Na meja kujira mu dendende. Minim se nipa ni bebre no ade ba ko a amanfo dodo no adwene ho sese no eye. But Saturday, Sunday, I don't know kwame se momo area omunya the same problem. It seems like across the country na be a lights off. Yes, Saturday, Sunday, minim also the same and memen dane run there. Na enya kra memen dane and run there na so terrible. But anyway, yate say your friend say Dumelo, John Dumelo, ayawa so West Wugon omo mano confirming in ra as unopposed candidate or standing the ama NDC Ayawaso. And I think say Fred Nyama did the right thing. Me share some of the videos. Now very encouraging. Say okay, so Bright City Awoshi too had same issues with lights off. Saturday, Sunday. It was too bad. Saturday, Sunday. It was too bad. Too bad. Very bad. Saturday, Sunday. Okay. Inti Miamfa and I think that Fred Nyama did well. So the point is the issue about counter accusations against way no said you can initially no and a name for so. These are two friends. And so be back will be so uncle. But Paradise is Simon Jinak Auto Car Polishing. Someone poem. Hey, I know she. All right, you're for. The point is Fred Nyamaya dear. And Yenya John Tumelo on far way no enye futu on fan to no hofo. Because Ocean Margina Dumelo Dima NDC, then later whether or withdraw no na and said I the papa. But then I hear say constituency executives no more man a tough time. And I think say the regional executives in share na almost encansem no. You see, won't mean for personal interest. Whether constituency chairman, secretary, women organizer, youth organizer, I mean, won't mean for we interest and determine what happens to the party our constituency. And I say Teshi na enyakura enkania no na enya de papa Jomama eja ekufado wajaw thermal plants wajaw thermal plants amerinie car power nie we nie NDC asia jaw Ghana gas just power the light na say wuntimi a. And you don't want anybody to call you a useless president. Please, just do it and let's move on. Anyway, so let's come back to the issue. Yenya Dumelo ntiasie say, oh, Dumelo you are there in 20. We share the figures. John did well. Too well. Enti minim Alexander say Ashaiman Saturday, Sunday, and then Kanyano off. Okay. All right. So when you inquire any bedeni, he did well. Minim the entire. Say executives no ebeha a Dumela. No more you are more free. We are simple. Because enkomo mudi no me matin komoni bi. I haven't seen any evidence. Inipa baku mienu bi aframe from Ayawaso West Wogon. I asked them, "Ubetumi send me evidence." Almost 2020, and you may be also our constituency. If that is the situation, just put those, complaints together. Monfama region, and now Monfama national. Then they will deal with it. Finish near. But I hope John also be involved Fred Nyama in the campaign. That seat, John Dumelo Yire Nwa Obetimi Aje. Yes, NDC na wo Giamano, but a huge credit at the Ahmad Dumelo political career. Because that constituency, a member about NDC Dimo Montimi Angeno, you have no idea. And said Dumelo to me just a seat no or no ankasa a credit money political career. A babwa or no ankasa. You understand? A babwa or no ankasa. Indeed, John. And yes, be a a friend say candidate channel no will be a who be there. But for me, I think Sena is fair. Say yes, Omuja on the post. Looking at numbers, I will pull here. I use the same principles, and I'm a support it. Domi Kwabena, my many friend is saying. Domi Kwabena woman, your friend is saying. What? Make a dumelo as my say at yourself. Domi Kwabena woman, your friend saying. Eli Klim, the same principle, and they supporting. So, I mean, it's just fair. Say, better so sa. All right, so Shukura Zamraman line. Saturday, you know, I'm saying that lights no hour off Shukura Zamrama line. Into a word, you know. Then issues about your friend say, Mr. Mumamiya said you my way. One, I did be close to Kumasi. Also, Kumasi for KME, ye Abobo ya for no, every a year Kumasi Central. Now, Mestre NDC say, Woman country a year NDC Ashanti region. Communicators na say, ma omo enkonkotai abobo ya for nechi simply because upe votes. Yembu o mine sir. That is my opinion. Yes, that is my opinion. I may be wrong. I may be right. But that is my opinion. You see, for years, you had a decongestion. I hear politics. Yeah, they hear politics. Yeah, they hear politics. Send this in our number, say, or mobile decongestion. Quickly, now MPP, a question microphone. Yan trouble Maubio. Yan say Maubio. Yan say Maubio. Say MPP, na ya. Nine this, a quack today. You see, there are certain things for me, I think, sir, what tamful. Because look, Kwame, I Juma abobo yanu AD ewo aye Kumasi adum me enko Accra Central. So I don't know. Kumasi there sometimes e bia me ko mikrom Asante Mampon a metimi ya stop over. I have some few friends ewo adum. Ntia me fa na nyamia me sister say Asante Mampon kra no. Tira say eka ya aba. O drive kra no a wonya ba bia amfa o. Even in Asante Mampon. O drive kra no a wonya ba bia amfa. Meti omo argument na say. Meti omo argument na say. Omo no argument ni say adwuma ni ho. And it's true. Omo ntimi nkobokro no. And it is true. What you say? But I think say when till na Orajo Mameka say ye legalize omo adwuma no. Right? Then the government can regulate them. Onyansani ka asemo a onyansani wo ka asemo a edin say but tinto obeti ase. It's so difficult for dams to understand. This is what John Mahama was talking about. That let's legalize the Okada operation. So you legalize it, then you can regulate them. And to bet me almost stations. Jagapi refers to Mampo in front of attack shop. Yes. And therefore you can, make sure so be regulate one. Oh, okay. So Okada for no mu station ewa ha na mu ya adwuma edeko. Abo Okada station ni. Aswase Okada station ni. Swame Okada station ni. Politics. In this will be asem kra no a, we don't want to listen to the person. Yeah? Obi asem papa. Yempesi ebetie. And you're going to go to Henry Cote on the current situation in Accra. It's sad. Very sad.
We've been hardworking. Yes. With Abubu, are still on the motorway. Can we say he's hardworking? Well, let's answer the questions. Is it hardworking? Chocho is still loading around Accra Mall. Hardworking. Correct. Rubbish around Graphic Road. Hardworking. Hear me. Kimbu, Chudu, everywhere. Rubbish. Hardworking. I want us to mark ourselves. Honorable Abana, Abubushi has been turned into a refuse dump. Is it hardworking? Are you aware? The place we cleared. The people are still dumping refuse there. They have stopped. Since when? I can't hear you. Last month. Do you know the dates we did this exercise at Abubushi? 2 years. And it took you last month to stop them from dumping refuse. I'm not too excited about coming to read hard work. Lejukuku, Ladadekutupo, Ashaman, Tama West, we talked about Abubuya on the motorway. They are still plying the motorway. They are. I also was spoken. The actual Accra Mall is like that. In fact, Ladadekutupo, just in front of ex-President John Mahama's house, somebody has started selling onions and tomatoes. Unbelievable. We are fighting over who collects revenue at Palace Mall. And as the contractor continues to work, the median has become a place of organizer, structural mechanics. Every day I talk about it. MCA is not feeling well every day. So how do I?
All right, so me Henry Cottage started BB about decongestion. Say or clear a chrome. Now I'm making sure say a chroma adaho. Then it got to a point also on one political party for a friend a catcher and say or say or move votes. Odias here. Aha. So just say thank you, Commander. It is very simple. Just legalize the Okada, regulate and generate revenue from them. Common sense. Common sense. This is what John Mahama was talking about. Common sense. Common sense, Mercy. Common sense. Common sense. Legalize them. Regulate them. Get them a venue. Omunya Juma. Then Okra Subenya careful as a government. Common sense. But that make I record as him. Also no and in fact and Makano. Yensre Ashanti region. Me some few comments here and there. The NDC communicators should stop that. Okwa Aduma, Adi Aduma ya nenyo. Chese, mampondie nanama asantuma point mean drive emfa say o drive the free. Yamfa say so ni Monica sin kwanta. Right? When Saint Monica's in Quanta. Aha. Wouldn't mean so what drive you when you're sunny free. Young father said, Akosa bro Sanasia. Just wow.
One year, some better.
Abobo ya everywhere. Ton.
Oh,
Evidias.
Yeah, poor me, mammy, upon store no more control. I'm sending them for text. And mammy said, "No better."
Unya kwa enko.
Was in your better.
Unya kwa enko.
Unya because if you just station one more abobo ya for station one more baby or you cook for any station ni parking no post office nani mu ho baby ya. On say Kwabena wo can be say Henry Cote started but we at a point where jai. Because on one party for complaining.
Yeah, they were
high. They were no high. Make I sir dear honorable Henry Cote yenu. Edipa oye bi wakra e yo Kwabena boy. NDC na ke oye AMA boss mayor ono na yes ade bia me kan say na me wa dom ne frɛ samre national organizer of ayawo Boatinja
Jan yeah
ene ye bisa no
ampa e ho no to di chenche no
waye na no de
na bodwe se ye twifo
bodwe se yi wo se yan se ye prepra na ye boa no a no aba ba hwete no uti abrochie no waba wunu madwuma ya party na ba power ya oba o haye wo hayo Kwabena po haye ni ye bo NDC fuo din ohunum ne ade on Kumase Kwabena se me be kuma sa ba be fa ka ba akra
yeah
labor na okada nam ho labor asafo wudu adumu a aseda house ho esro ho be bia despite ho no mo adumu suo no mo nyina e wo se regulate wo mo because akra ha no no enye ba bia ne hu okada sa oh yeah akra ha se enye ba bia omo wo ha ba nye ba bia
obua
wo be kwa ashama wo benya ye wo ba bi akra no ba bia mi hu abobo ya eye dome
anti Accra Central omo ni
dabi omo ni ho abobo ya ni Accra Central abobo ya bia na mo Accra Central.
Oh, I see.
Oh, se me te say abobo ya bia na mo a me de ho na me didwa ho na me call market weekend bia Saturday bia me pon a me kwa Accra Central me kokọ didwa abobo ya me fam makola because makola ho na me to me cosmetics abobo ya bia na mo Accra be bia bi na mo.
Oh, okay.
E bi na mo be bia eti Accra na ye baby ka so an wo be hu bi o ashama no be hu bi o.
That is okay.
Aha do me say no do me kura no mi hu se do me kwa no mo ye adwuma de kosa estate kwan no so do me ne kwa ni pillar 2 no mo ne Christian Village Junction no so ho no mo no eni ehuhu wo mo but Kumasi Central District business district debe central market in 50 where doom asida house labor asafu market no nyina kwada bras kwanom naninamu saa on say keme for the na matena ho no Muhammad na escalate agency mu awiafe na mutu ho na mo
but nana it comes back to issue na Ora John Dramani Mahama raised say look say that be a part and parcel of us and to be honest with you say wo pentemo anya fe na wo be gina what taxi asem bia ni because they say cars ni bebre wo ha on fair nipa 4-5 on 2 year we no mienu miensa yazo
no osin
na osne
omo price nso wo fom and na emrante ne ye no mo ye dididi indeed it makes sense but you see yan na joma make say yan legalize omo adwuma omo operation no. Now if we are able to legalize the operation which means the government can regulate them and na eno ne yokada
so na so okada ni abobo ya afọ ni nyina no.
Ah, okay.
Okada ni abobo ya afọ ni nyina no.
Okay. Omu nyina wo the same.
We
say abobo ya ni die ba bi wo ha wo kwa.
Okada ni abobo ya afọ ni nyina ye the same.
But yeah limitations mremu ma ba bi a. Ba bi omo be ye adwuma.
Okay. So the point is say senke ya de aban no
any regulating.
Okay. Okay, mo venue nie. Ye wo GPRTU. Ye wo protoa. Ya wode ande say kra taxes no nanse ya yango ni ade ba taxes bebre no e wo mo makoma bi na bo so mo bo wa
e wo stations no
what you say entu de yempe venue mo ni regulate o mo yanju o mo tax entu onim so me fa ni pa free e bia aboabo a me de ne kwa aso ase ofori krom anase bia ayija anase bia askwa ma se aba ha say yenko ho. But some more regulating microphone
no mugum
sa na aka kire ne say onya adwuma no nkodi die
they say challenge ni nyina ye KMA ne police for mo Kumasi de wi what because me do Kumasi akwa me nam Kumasi na de wi abobo ye na ho no a on say fijase de se ka fijase a fijase de well because fijase no otua onamu sa askwari bia askwari okwa askwari nzongo okwa fijasi nzongo onamoyoko nenemu ba hono mo ne de ye ba se Kumasi mfimfi no se hono mo na problem challenge ne wo on se hono mo no mo kwacheche nkrofo a ekwa sizi wo mo try cycle ntino omo no mkobo ani wo hono mo a ye say Elisha ne KMA se Pierre ne kasa se an wo so mbe ya amamre antu omo nya amamre
e de amamre
o se an wo so mbe ya amamre KMA fo say came a task force any police and omo ekoye sa de ekwacheche wo m ma me ne say e wo so mo be ya amamre ansa no release wo mo tricycle de ama wo mo ti wo ho but omo no omo ntina se no omo no omo nka e na say abobo ya fo e from say yi phone say omo no ya pragia fo no nso say ba bi na say no keme fo pesa wo mo ya adwuma duru no enya de omo be ya adwuma duru ho
no but hold on pragia no enya na no okada no okada ni ye moto ena pragia ne ye
de India for ka no omu India ne China for
ena abobo ya no eye de
womo de asua ne ma
okay tricycle
moto no anu so ayiwa achi na
all right so but I think say nimiensa nyina no mo ka mo ho asem
okay unse ayifo say omo mo chi wo mo no
obi okada de omo ye adwuma within there
okada de unse moto no de Kwabena ebia ha say bia nipa mensa bi ayi no motor ride no ma pack you but say no omo main challenge no eye pragia
yes
pragia ne wo mu main na yi a wo fight wo akoye den dia mom enti pragia na me so mi kan se Kwabena Kumasi fifi no ankasa asafo market ho labor ho ya chese wo free take ba kwan ni mu ni no o matena se amade no ade na ankasa no eme wanwa.
Okay, Commodore says there is no Aboboya in Accra Central. I'm even there at the moment. All right, thank you.
Pragia ni ho.
Okay, but Sesiano na kote kasimbi motorway no so unim de Aboboya for no Aboboya for na say tricycle no right
omo ne fa ne ma no
unim de omo ye Amponsa also Kwabena there is no Okada in Kumasi. Oh how Okada Kumasi
ni Kumasi
masa
Okada moto
there be now ni Kumasi ni akwala na ekata
Okada ni Kumasi Okada won kran ko
how possible oh say the omo ye ne say omo fa nkrofo bola bonso obasa Aboboya afo no na anadwene ya omo ye saade no o say motorway no so esum edru
okay
yes anadwo esum pa na won say amanfo ni bi nantem okrom ha
ene de
bebre amanfo ni bi nantem now omo de basa on 18 January de mane ko abatwa no omo timi eseda de okosa no the time ne baako asi eye ye friend say pavement no eso
hono no
na achia na wasi from no akotedua bi ase wose si gosa kosi ya boom na bola na hwe aguo obetu agina wa de be 10 minutes obi e ma car light bi e ma ubonse boko aba na obi omoye mienu no ma be pia se emunye du no ma be pia si so no watu pua ena sese no apiam we ededadeda motorway no mu on se baby awura no na mafa critic kwa wo mutimi etwa wo mo ubi wan so wawuram atwa no ho
atiesi
you are tears back or say back to Accra ti ade be chi no na ball no egu ho ekwa no so and mete say court ebusa almost say those assemblies no how are they trying to regulate all this kind of it's sad but me the mesre matisa manfo be we man this for Munkwajimo Kumase they should allow them to work oh nana sadia no a send this na ya na MPP akose akire say MPP na
munya wo mo nye unsu ni sadia no nso no ye gaya enye yie edikemefo ni MTT for omu de ombeye wo mo but
ninya comes back to the Ejoma Makai no just legalize their operation regulate them what you say enipa no hu se wagina tumu a de obeka bia no obetie enyansafo ko hwefo se omonti ase
ayi pragiafo no de menye sure say omodwuma ye ne ye quite different from your friends Okada enti because pragiafo do me se no kwa omo wo baabi a omo packing omo nkwa wo baabi a hono omo sam ho
omo nko market ni ade kwen
omo no market wo omo wo market wo animu ho no no before abedu market ni animu taxi fo no wo baabi pragiafo no su gu animu sei a omo su lodu eba Christian village domain no mu ni pillar 2 no mu ni ade ko but e bi nko estate ho do omo kwan main road to Ashoma estate ni de ho de bi nko honom but say Christian village and then pillar 2 and ankrofo so fair from do omo kokko surrounding na yi na wo honom na vicinity na wo honom na
okay
enti no pragia no ena te say me kan ada afijase say no omo gu ho no regulate wo do omo age ho no afa but Okada no I'm so kada no issue ni na.
Yeah, sexy Bobie. What KMA is doing is just playing on the emotions of the Kumasi people, creating impression that is the only the tricycle riders causing chaos or unnecessary traffic. And Kennedy, Ajete says Kokada is all over in Ghana. It will take about 3 decades for people to understand John Mahama. The man has been through the mill. And that's very practical politics. He uses the elements of the challenge to solve the challenge. Mahama knew it is impossible to stop people from riding bikes. So simply make it official. If Nigerians had Mahama, they would have made him president for life. Okay, so that is Abubakar Ibn Tanko says, watching you live from Istanbul. More fire. Alaji Tanko. Okay, Alaji. Della Hammond is watching us live. Thank you, Della. Dennis Adompila is watching us from Pando Toko. All right, thank you. Dramani Seri is here on your Facebook page. But Nanama, quick one. Another pressing issue at your various institutions. Omo yentia omo kabepim semene kasei. And it seems like the year is about to go down. We are in August now. By next 2 weeks, August is down. Then we have 3 months to go, right? So you emphasize the last quarter. Yes,
yeah.
Nothing to show. They are just hanging in. Baby ma. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, more picky news items.
Still, na me school feeding caterers no. Abano timia settle woman ni woman issues no. Because last term omu be a school no whole term no oma ankoda
no brebi
one term enkwani be a school caterers na anko school da o oma ankoda e no mu de call vacation omu vacate e no ma sanso abie by say ni minim so oma kwa because omu bie e no na akoye back and forth say abani se wo de say 20 pesos atu omu sika mu ama wo mu a omu so omu nje me kai say not long ago I think be month ni
mamene koku nkasamra sesia mamene ne nkasamra. All right, so koku dome a spokesperson my food suppliers association chairman akwaba
mejuzo mi na say
nyame adom boko menu quick one musika sem no akosi say abaya tua moka
yo awie dia metia wankasa na metia utiefo enu kwa aban achese anka aban chese anka Thursday no betia eka
Thursday twa me
bayi
Thursday no ombetua moka
sana 17 no mo share.
Okay. But before no mube free a year more picketing mu no omo mamus can be.
Picketing omo by 100 million out of 270 million. And omo share on the 17th of this month. Omo de dia kan be so my.
That is Thursday.
Yes.
Okay. So which means nyame ya aduma Thursday bibia be fine.
Yeah, bonfire sir.
Okay. All right. But mo kwaye no mo de aduane ko. Mo de aduane mo supply aduane na say o ma wa mo agai aduane supply.
Oh, aduane dey say minister nangasa dey na ade.
I see anything say.
What do you say?
What can I say?
But say a supply no. Minister of Education through commodity exchange. Omuna mo supply no. Omo ko for na supply no.
Which is legal, right?
Of course, it's legal, but it's not morally right.
Why?
Because the minute we juma, now I be bring am me ho. Now when Jaka Now when you start, different set of people. Omo de omo cat. Now me music ana media supply there. Untia. It is not morally right.
Who are those people? Here for?
Yeni mo. And I'm at say. Ya pese ya dia. Yan ko hu omo. Na yenya supply no ba me maintain sa I want the same way that because me on the company, obviously on the company. Now your man the contract. That me go who na on me nyamani be because of supplier. Me yes was say try yes sir. And until I be say although minister know you legally right.
Yeah.
Contract a different set of people.
Yeah.
But it's morally wrong not to have paid us and have money to pay new set of people to be doing the supply. And you won't believe it, sir. 2023
and this 200 and over no which year?
Any 2022.
Oh, and it Munyama 2023 dear cry.
But on my supply through commodity exchange, you know. I'm on the Diaka. Up to date. I buy in Jomoka.
I see.
Beyond there. I buy a unit. I don't know what you need.
Mami Busau, Mpasho, educate me kakra. Sa commodity exchange channel no awo dada acha na say afe no makriti. What is it?
I pay an more activity. Say or more and yet supply. And no yet that under the direct supervision of the Ministry of Education.
I see.
But the woman is a more yes supply no. There are about 4 or 3 companies and they supply the entire food stuff. Don't you know? What was that? What is a shortage? Food shortage is every most of the schools, especially in the northern region. Because a more the contract name almost is piano. More need capacity to do the job. Then you give us a direct contract. So what you is scam I but I'm say the woman is come with it to a mukash. Ukobaya figure scam out. Yes, it got almost 7-8 getting to 8 months, 2023 the American Tano. Yes, Kai. And see, it is legally wrong for you, it is legally right for the minister to contract different sets of people. But it is morally wrong not to have paid us and have money to pay the new crop of suppliers. Now, or say, now buy so this card. Now, I buy so this card on your car on here. Auditor suppliers are on undertaking currently the supply business. Where is that money coming from? Is it not the same government that is paying same? And nothing I mean, well, they are under no obligation to contract us to continue. But they are under strict obligation to give us our money. Within the stipulated 2 weeks now, we say about 2023 is the emergency. January, February. And almost is within 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, I became almost 8 months. I have community. You can't buy by a new set of people. Supplier,
so, which means Sikano Woho?
Exactly. Those are pre-educated. Some of the students. And they have been paid. Contract, they don't have the capacity. They don't know where to source for the food. But Omona supply and
no, then who said they don't have the capacity?
But they fall on us to help them. They fall on us. And some of them confronted some officials at the Ministry of Education. I mean, who does that?
Oba so kaso me party man
I know there. but there's a particular interest, whether it's political or personal interest, I'm yet to find out. Because, yeah, yes, apply them. Yeah, new much as yet. And why I didn't, yeah, not to see, we say, new people are. I'm only why I'm a pastor supply, and I'm a Janina school string now. There's only one thing that can influence that decision. It's either a personal interest or a political interest or any other interest.
Okay, all right. So, Yansha, by Thursday, the ABC, but 2023 Sikano so, yani DHC. So, Yansha, by Thursday, then after Thursday we can pick it from there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All right, Koku, thank you. Mame ne eye miniaba Lucy, Piazza and Casa, school feeding caterers. Auntie Lucy, Akwaba.
Yeah, Jalminia Bema.
Boko there.
That's it. Nyamia domo ye kra se ye wo so me da se ni akonya odiama me ma entia kese enko wetiefu nyina so na se o ka school feeding asem anka me pese me di bi betua dia ye nua be me e kan e pa Ministry of Education any free SHS.
Okay. Okay.
Na afi mi wi a me di school feeding dia no ato school feeding dia say aye yibibi e da ho I to say you signed the bond says for so many years we talk about it and it's still the same. And he said the Ayenia Mane Kano. One school feeding education ministry hono so. You may dear Baku Cassia or any friend one hot meal. Vendors, caterers, any Diane, Edima day schools, day secondary schools a workroom has seen they are about more than 200 vendors, according to day secondary schools, a workroom has seen. So for day secondary schools, Chemu secondary, Takrade Technica, Medak secondary, whatever, Nina a day school. When you about this, it did 3 times a day. Day schools, you mom one hot meal. Now, and and also contract as usual with government, you deliver and you are paid. According to the contract, only aduane we are we head teacher any teachers may sign it bibia we invoice any forms bibia we say one way aduane and now they call Ministry of Education your free SHS secretariat or desk officer who they are command who the manual now for my year 6 weeks down the line near flow no abeju sika 3 years ni ekwo de oye nani amane nko biara ye di esika beko no je ye chese ye kasa anase ye koyo ye kire anase ebimu ye suma bimu mo ko minister ho ebi o house said dia na ye nia be mane kano down to 8 months ni so we share calendar for education na 2 semesters for secondary school for no ya near diane first semester yen try second semester is about to end this month. Schools need to perform 3 for exams every year. Yeah, that's what to hope. And now, no minister Badu Mefem. Ebe can say, on you be a car, and son a kate be casafa home. I saw the car, or so your best reference. To see I may know Cassie, vendors need be a threat a secretariat to her, ministry, yes, almost a capre, a big 1 year, the trio be car. And so the question goes back, is it the central government, no, not all release the budget that was given out last year, because you didn't say institution be submitted on the budget November. Until last year, November, and the Ministry of Education ordered a budget a statement, a core parliament, which includes supply uniforms, one hot meal, everything education. You can see a bisa minister, Dr.
Aduchum. Yeah.
Dr. Aduchum say, some budget now or the call last year November. As for Neno, you really see the man who cry na. You can see
last year December to November.
A BIA institution BIA say more media for Madaruma 4th estate of this nation. Muya mu checks here. Mu parliament mu go by November. Ubekona institution be including Ministry of Defense baby obi ade ne budget statement eko. Now I know so say free SHS na edda His Excellency Nana Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo na kuma so pa. Uhwemu a Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Defense, and some other crucial ministries. You have found budget in dia bro. Says he can we din se krom dia se krom hadie. And no dia obombe release. And he can no and what he and now minister no also so the house up. Ako yes can no one party ana. We don't understand this, and from henceforth, we don't want anybody to come and tell us because you need so the minister should come and tell us where the money is that he cannot pay us. Mr. Wadum FM and Otunenu Mutuoso were tria vendor biaka. And Neya Mupa, Mumo Binko, Unkobisa say vendors, Yesika Yetriana. Yeah, yes, to this somewhere supply uniform, almost yentua muka, yentua vendors, almost dear Gianico, ya, Buffer software, Linia Bema, yentua, can't it come away? And answer what did you take the choir the fufra, and no, I'm buying ready to give.
No, but more decide, listen, more decide, say, Mobile a year education ministry or Alcobusa say, Nasikano way.
A bit the demeanor of a politician, some of the young hono, Ubeka said, no, crana when your brain is so our connection. Oh, no, because Mufi Hoppe, no, me a Philip and Sabi, Samina, many a dinner, me call me come near Koya, no, near Fremo, Nabiaka Negu. Sikano, I hear yes, Remo, Mufanya news, and then Numeni or channel, but Mummy Doctor, I do too. I say, vendors, one hot milk vendors, good suppliers, he said, Sikano or the whole budget, I called last year, November. I was here because this year, so by November or the next year budget, Beko. It's not last year, Sikano, I was here. Oh, my year, they are in the house up before it's not quite say, warm what? And the money who we live in this country, look at what is happening in this country. You are a responsible parent or anything, you have kids, and then for 8 good months, your money is locked somewhere. The minister goes and talk and say anything in air and come back and sit down. What happened anyway? We can't understand this.
Mami Busa no be me colleague no can be HMCC about basic level. Said last term the whole of the term. School feeding and Oman providing Kolanediane. I don't know whether you are aware.
No, agitation ni kosu bebre no. Muti honsem bebre. So almost Oman last year school feeding and say we are just slipping into school feeding, the basic school no. Last year say no 3 good terms, 3 consecutive terms na omuntriaye. And tonight man says Oman triaka they won't cook and so majority didn't cook. That was the situation. Majority didn't cook. And that is the money they are expecting to be paid for.
So, which means the basic level issues, no. Then the one hot meal is pending.
I know the basic, the Ministry of Education.
Yeah.
Basic, the Minister of Gender, any school feeding secretariat. Mrs. Gertrude Gwashiga.
Yeah, so they have their own issues dealing with.
Also, it's like the same government has not released money. Say there, as Subuano Obiaka and one of the Akosha buying any Picano. Now, Yemi one say, a buying so and the only monitoring system, Bia say, or Yisikanoa. And now see this kind of Ministry of Finance or a question near what would
but Lucy, this is the point. How can you even confirm whether someone releases from the central government or not?
I don't see the other diamond. If you say more credibility, say mutimi ebisa asem edima or my phone because Muka will be as a 4th estate.
But you see, Lucy, now the difficulty we have here is that Ubebusa question Obi few. Sometimes you over track the ministry that okay, so we need this information, that information. It will take like 1 month, 2 months, and so only.
Communication directors named Pennyphobia soon. Our Flagstaff House. And I say, a dear, and what's in bedroom? Or the best and be sharp. I said, na ebane saying na school free SHS politika besi ne yentria Minister of Finance is Honorable Ken Oforiaka.
Yeah.
Really this camera when the ministry for na this idea really the good for what is this that we are seeing in this nation? That is the only crucial part of this government I don't understand. Sir. You roll a lot of fantastic projects. You release money for it to be done. Nothing is done, and nobody seems to find out. And then we keep talking and agitate almost every day. Almost every day. Now, no, Samusha TV3, school be or not, day school, near my home, and Kwalano were on a day. Almost so much aggressive, and the close school need down until say head teacher no a bit to me any caterer not coming into a day say and I bet you caterer the car. Me school man and this week me capre. My sister me fiancé Jane ne bibia the question for my Emma minute the accommodate. Me need some na prime debate and you know say mumu na mu asemi amike munyi mu epa ye etwasumu na mu koso embo hu dewro na abayin te say ni nyuma pa oye no people are sinking it down in the name of government has not released the funds.
So would you say the certain president is not aware of this current situation?
That is what I cannot tell. That is what I cannot tell, and that is why I may be good to me. I say more media phone. You are powerful. It's a powerful instrument. So being a fear, a team could be said this and semonimu. In the bisa the sitting minister no say yes how tika mawana and now see baby some minister of finance. Oh really this kind of what is happening? How can anybody be there for the past 8 months? Not in seek out there, Jumane Sankai. Now you gusu ye, you gusuani ye, Jumane San. Yes, what is this entrenched position the ministries and even government are taking for people who are trying to support their agenda? And some of these populist theories near dear Modiaba, Ama power 2 times. And you still want to break the aid with this kind of posture.
But Mammy Musa, one hot meal, no shanty, ebinum, esika kamubaya saying roughly.
Hey, now, yeah, what said, Obia, me school, Colado, so may say 2,000. Who call Kasua Day Secondary School, and Colani Yakobe 3,000.
Hey,
nothing in tree and a car. Not Sika cannot pay, me, I made the aqua, Kakre Bimpono. Say, and yes, Kaketwa was a near canoe. Vendor ni sika sakra for a semester no na ebro a day 100,000 dia ni sika sakra for a semester ebro 100 PSHS no school ni enkwala kopa omuko ena aduane ya nua no eno na ma nkwala ni best school omu babet na because onim sa common dey ne yem say onkra wan si because better aduane adia ye be ma ne jollof Yabema no fried rice, yabema no mutuo ni nkasenkwan ne chicken, yabema no gari and beans and cocoa. Yene aduane a yene enye gasoline ni nyama ni bi yene wo fie ye dibi head teachers teachers ne saline wache any shito any fish benku hot pepper ne fish a omani agi a omudidi e di basku be sua de aboa ema youth ni dudu a wo kroma no at least they have their basic knowledge obintimi and nane 9 and fankan chen say 6. All
right.
So I say.
So last time I know didn't come on me because more adewe more yen day. And I'll ask you the same question. More yen day.
Mini abema. Hey, the America chon say ya ye kokko akọ ministry hopping. Ya 224 akọ hopping. Ya kasa ho platform so ya friend penny for free SHS no ye wo nipa oda no CEO da free SHS na no your friend Mr. William Gakwa on da free SHS wo krom anyina no a ono no be hwa me aye placement aye bibia aye die your friend bisa no also we are on it your friend account department just say the anyone see bisa questions about payments it's like it's the same story.
So which means omo jeje mu ama ebedu ba no jeje se mu dwa so de kire wo mo
ka sai biem sai e ho biem so jeje we the right word na we use na e jeje sem
Just how much Jim Mama Mujaso at the Chre woman say I've heard say you don't do for Tegare.
Aye. Me kaisa last time Uncle Poko minister for me don't pay or be a better for the abaneniso. On Pekokra, if you have come to talk to me, don't bring red.
Now, free, now, Bosom, you know,
all yellow. Now, person of the American system, but have fantastic system. No, the system that is already in place, you are frustrating the system. Frustrating the system.
Bosom, you know, or Tiano, any brabano as Santimam or Moka, a year, Yakoko, Nomfra.
Aye. And on person of the corner, vendors, no, about to probably.
So, what is the next action? It seems like they say no more pim. What is the next action?
Yabre, and on a control, Yakonanim. Your friend in Penny for your Kakao platform, so your friend directors of finance.
I don't think I'm going to petition the first lady and the second lady. Maybe a bit more.
President, Her Excellency Yamame Rebecca Kufuado. If he say, you can't see Kasembi say, you Tianica, you bet what will say or Kakabe be baby. What I know there were really term of office until no she found a review. Mrs. Bawumiaso so a Kuba breaking 8 no or chimney duku. I got na program biasia or for being bay. Mignon Kubina near Diane echo in school feeding. Ni Kuro Mufua, Omo or Chigliku, a young Mrs. Samira, Her Excellency Bawumia. I was Krobi Suya Ferro or Chigliku, a Hona Namignon Kubi. Near basic school at the Anekwa, Yen Tianica, da ye bet Tiano Sonia train boom, and a wet giant near full and if one a war, homoyen and train, one in the village, a woman or free, yet he said, or my school feeding coordinator, so they say, what is in the village and said the Anenko. And I'm saying, a man is soon, you know, the bay, and I saw bar or bar tire, or pay a first lady, or timidly, no true movie.
I see. But I want to fully for the Dawson to know she is concerned.
I why in the village, I want a woman free in the village, you know, and she
I
want Ningo Pram district, the last village of Ningo Pram, who were senior Estro Kakra, Ujinawa, Uhu Madina, Ujina Sakro, Uhu Madina, Ufia Polonia. The next village is Okchebliku. And when I'm in court for Fabian in court, me, Madame Francois were shy because a quiet and you're more trouble. What do you mean, Faka? This is the motto every day 50 Ghana, and or the motto, dear Janeko, or the Korea were betraying for almost 1 year and Sammy Tianica, no Boka Keke, no Yaneke, say a radibation so happy. I hear cabo and would do on the phone to me friend and report. What will come out that all addressing school feeding as a man? What apart from Honorable Abambabwe, our year board, echo school feeding secretariat, echo cancer sky, demand any day, and yet into a better other stakeholders and find out how this program or say on only chrome north would be a boa papa in John's now in apart from Sa Papa no. Why BM na chrome what is a man agitate our becata? From the bed breaking 8. They are not concerned about any of these. I don't think they know here. And so these are a dear friend is saying supporting programs are we are on my bima a pija or mine. I say a buying no abwa ama it becomes a national cake obi anya bidi esan se nipa me ba eko school na se ni 2 cities bia or the better dia na di na buying dia man no so the national cake no
anyway Auntie Lucy same way I think that one day me person me no be have a studio discussion one-on-one.
Now you're ready.
Okay.
We'll fix it.
All right. Mate, me that's be Auntie Lucy.
Yeah.
All right. So Erica says, where is the oil monies which were meant for the school feeding program? Bobie, where is the oil monies? One day things will happen in Ghana. Nana, this is sad, eh?
Na me adia ba kwa sometimes I mean tiase ni say. Afi bia ye budget. Eco ministries, department no money ade. Say budget allocation to Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection no. The free mu eco school feeding no. Omo budget allocation so SNBBA. It me problem ne say ya the budget co ministry na say finance minister release this canon eco ministry where can ya no mo de yede because every
but the other question I saw say na o releases Canadian.
Okay. Kwabena every year be a Business and Financial Times.
Okay.
2019 school feeding allocation na ye 262 million Ghana cedis 2019 and 2020 omo ya no 470 million Ghana cedis 2020 omo increase no 470 million Ghana cedis and then 2021 mu increase 2021 equal 489 million Ghana cedis. So from 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, urban in Kwabena, we increase budget allocation free senior high school. 2021, 489 million Ghana cedis. And at 2022,
which they released it.
Okay, so 2022, back Kwabena, age the report by your release 2022 no from 2021 na 489 million Ghana cedis. 2022 budget allocation free senior high school 881 million Ghana cedis.
No so koi.
And no so koi. Where year 2022 2023 there they say afena mo say 2023
so the Business and Financial Times says scan echo
Kwabena sika no mu release man ko enye so omu release man ko enu na address afone maame ni nya ho issues no problem no school feeding na because me share ministry no allocation 70 almost 70% equal school feeding mu lip ni school feeding mu almost 70% budget allocation to Ministry of Gender no almost 70% equal school feeding mu eti adwa safo ene maame no problems issues ni terminating appointment nyina eni sika no mu release ko ministry on ma hefa na eko omo be ministry na be ye press conference catch us sika no mu release 2019 omo anyon budget allocation 2020 omo anyon budget allocation 2020 omo nya 2020 omo nya 2022 omo nya the fact of the matter is sika no way eti se Cecilia Branda pa okay say a friend say mami we ko na adwasafo ko e no enye na do first year mu na adwasafo issues ni ade baye so Cecilia Branda part take over caretaker 2022 nyina 2021 mu no so no ono ana ye caretaker this year na Branda pa ye sector minister wo hono sika ne guni dem enye se sika ne release sika no oh Kwabena na do sika term
ono na o
yes ono na wo ho enye se sika ne release sika no ministries no release man ko but ministers no ne coordinators no adwasafo ne coordinator ni nyai because of sika ye releases school feed their caterers ne sanka
sika ko du obi ho sika ne gumpaase
oh
sika ne go obi dem
na da pa any Gertrude Kwashiga sama amene ni dinu no yes retired Kwashiga na yene no Gertrude Kwashiga abena safo ni issues nyina say sika na ye release ediba ministry ha say no almost 70% eco school feed mu wona wo ye coordinator sika no kwai oni district coordinators omu nyina ya MPP for ma onu omu na akona even Kwabena omu fe sika no omu wie sika no enye se ye release omu wie sika no omu wia omu fa eti address afu terminate maame na appointment letter nyina no auditing a omu ye no na maame ni sika no omu release no oni regional coordinators oni district coordinators omu ka bomu eti caterers na omu ye de sika no ewo Cecilia Branda pa ho ewo Gertrude Kwashiga ho woni regional coordinators district coordinators ena aka bomu sika ne ko ba bia ekọ because kwakọhwe age report kwana kwakọhwe se sika ne ye release but enko omuntua hwemi krom DC yi bioba na do first time omuma efijaso oyoba DC yi Kwabena se SDA SDAB SDAC wo twagum omukwa audit no I don't know that am almost search age no kra wo twa schools na gum ena ono agisika no oni coordinator na kabom district DC efijaso okwa na carpenter ni yaba.
And then I also a carpenter.
Oh, your friend was a carpenter. We have full ascori, Udru a yascoria. Udru Fijasia, Usupe DC, you do ever was a carpenter, a carpenter.
And who bought a honorable no more one.
Or would you say Fijasi DC, your Biakas was a carpenter. We have who pay from that car, a yakama, ewo area. Why, my mamma was a carpenter, so I said, being cry away me. For me, I don't know who's the Sassy. Well, Sassy, you made no. Oh, Kwabena, so it's not say ye release but say school feeding mu minister ne ayi abenada pa.
All right, so let's work on this one. Mr. Emmanuel Cherry, Chief Executive Officer, Ghana Chamber of Construction Industries. Uncle Yima Akwaba. Mboko de.
Yamina domo gudi.
Uncle Yima.
Money jumayo.
Yeah, that's it. Uncle Yima say mu sikatuas money abain. Akosi say how far?
Asankese na go fa be you.
Oh.
And that form.
Wow.
You did some common ache.
Yeah.
Now, baby, I did see idea. Here was some Cassia. I can't Cassia now. Okofa Abe Aye. Say, Yenny are buying a single jar every hour Jumadium for some time now. Now, Chinaminchi, Conabrano. A yard also. The say a canoe still a bind to mean to na IMF nso edi ni di answer abegim enti be bia bi see edi aye di mai papa
ayi fa na IMF di abehye mu a ama na aye di ama mu
also that restructuring no any how do you call it suspension of all ongoing projects you know most of the notable projects are omoye ni brebe ni nyina donor funded projects we ni nyina almost all of them have been put on hold. And the contractor for any of my for in LP. And when as they are sent to see a so a bank and so I create unemployment. Unemployment is super so the insecurity in the system no more. So these are some of the associated challenges are confronting construction industry and the entire economy as a whole. Because in the construction sector, booming, all the factors, indicators and economic indicators, you know, they become so positive. As you see, I know say the economy is down because contractor for money.
Yamfa say for how long in abine demoka?
Oh, I would say a idea a few honor on also idea so I want to say or crack so baby from last year early this year in fact I get channel and koi crack.
Uncle Yima, so what is the government's explanation?
Number one, Cocoa Boss. Obviously, they had a challenge in the international market. And because of that, you know, affecting how do you call it, syndications and what have you. And here, know, they are not in the good books. So because of that, you know, Adani, how eventually. So the Fiana cabinet, Emma will approve and say they should go and look for private sector, how do you call it, international private loans down the way. So that is where we are now, and we are hoping that by October or early November, Cocoa Board will be able to come and redeem their promises. But as for road fund, the least said about that, the better. Nothing at all. And I'm surprised. So the lesser deduction on the oil this yearly, any discount. For instance, the CIA say road to the year and see the Yankee show. We don't know what exactly is happening. You see, payment is as if to be honest, it's a selective payment. And more agitations, any year are increasing because according to her. At least everybody knows that every way, every this month, every next month, every next month, every another month. And to be up in the journey queue. But in this case, for instance, to speak now, nobody knows what exactly is happening. The letter money, a better account in the mono, now order from above, Jubilee House. Minister, Eddie Nicole for who depend the paper to so, from much
no, but Uncle Yima, hold on. Do you know for a fact an answer is a rumor? Which is which?
I am telling you, it's a truth. I'm telling them because if it's not the truth, then they should come and publish the payment list. And then here. If they have the ball, they should come and publish the payment list that the road fund has been making since last year to this year. I'm not publishing it here. Name call a GOG, consolidated fund. Payment, I'm not publishing it here. So that we interrogate it for us to see.
So which means the money is there, but there is something they are not telling us as Ghanaians, right?
You see, with the road fund, it's a dedicated account.
Yes.
And every month, tax minimum get you pay kakra. The see a email is what I can. Where the chop on the media to Munim say, a central from Mumbai. Ile ki ya no ahi na enya ahi na edi akoye ekwan ahi na mo di ahye youth employment mu misira mu a eche centrofo mu bisa kwahie mai because there be a mo deduct 11 uchi usani mo a we receive here o mo deduct sika no ko hi then o mo di sika ne ye ahi te kukura mo mai hu te 2 cedis mo mai hu obia nim obia hu say this how much comes in a yenyina atene to adjust ourselves to it. But in the special and the secrecy, it's not helping anybody. Well, but with the how they call it the consolidated fund, on the normally a bank a babusia and a grantor, no committee, and the accord we no more. You see, I know because man credibility, you are losing credibility in the international financial market, and because of that, nobody wants to associate themselves with us as a country. So that is where the challenge is now. So with the consolidated way, Kakra Amunyano, Anuna, they are turning around with it with how they call it, other tax collections are on free other sources, or not pumping into all this. You see? So to be honest, at least let's say that comes let there be transparency. So that Bia will say, okay, every operating Bobie Ansah Amaso, Amazon, but where the
Kra. Oh. So, Angoima, now tell us, what is your next line of action? Because it seems like Obia, some way, more you're dying.
You see, I know, I was a contractor for me, on my party from side. It's a clear demonstration actually I say you are not happy with what exactly is happening. Number two, the various communities are that almost a contractor and almost acquiring and school diner with the AMA contract, our contractor no every site they should they should find out what exactly is and demonstrate. The community should hold the various authorities accountable because they pay their taxes. They are what they call the national care, they are also to benefit from it. And it is almost like here are buying who wake up from his sleep. Because the sleeping is becoming too many. Wow. So the community and you, the how they call it, the media houses, we move by a power.
But I think
everybody, if all of us contributor, are buying will rise and do the right thing. Because the civil society organizations as well as the clergy, they are going in hibernation. Most of them are in bed with government, so they can't talk.
No, but Ima, the point is, if the government decides that, look, we are not going to pay, we don't have money, or even if we have money, we are not going to pay. I mean, there is little the CEO, the CSOs, and those civil societies can do. They can't do anything. You can't force the government to pay contractors.
Let me tell you on authority.
Tell me.
Church of Pentecost command almost 4 million populations in this country. CAC and what have you. If you put them together, they don't contract or 10 million thereabouts, the clergy or the religious organizations. Their leaders rise and say, no, enough is enough. And therefore, Mr. President, do this before you move on to this. The Muslim clergy, what they call it, clerics, the chief imam. Do you think Mr. President will sit down aloof? Nobody. He cannot. Because he respects the religious people. And therefore, he will do everything possible to make sure that he earns their respect and reputations. But because all of them are quiet, anything happens. And the president is thinking that everything is wrong. Because nobody is talking. The people who are supposed to rise and talk, they are not talking. You see, I don't know whether I have the balls or what. And the country is collapsing.
Come on. All right. Where the pencil be no? That's All right, so another one. It seems Charlie.
Before
But you know, today we have a one-on-one with Uncle Vital.
I say no for no.
Yeah.
Madam for be free UK buy. Me first time she say or your contractor.
Yeah.
Yeah, why you adwuma ma buy no akwat na UK because I dey sister wo call. Any your friend say omumbra. Contractors ni bi mbra to oka ho bi.
Na omumbra meju omusika.
Omumbra meju omusika. Eti omu buy no omu engage wo musika ye 2 billion a. You say haircut. You try 500,000.
No, think I'm Musa.
Yeah, me kwanso me refie.
I'm sorry.
Omu na omu tua o ka say omu tua bi no on Kwabena. O se omu ba re ho sem ni say wo de me ka be 3 years ni 4 years no. Sika no e depreciate. Sika ni value above from. Omu ba ye no me engage omu kire omu say haircut because ya kwa IMF. They say a domestic debt exchange program. It is abane do ka say 1 billion and I say 2 billion or say 2 billion no. Omu try 500,000 egu.
Wom
Eko say 3 billion na e be say 100,000 there just say the all kind na me say awat o say na ma almost san o pass sign eje o pede a ene ma ne na ho no mo sa.
I see.
Yes, contractor.
Very interesting. Okay, so school feeding school feeding for Akasa, right?
Okay, yeah.
And they have issues with payment. Then we have spoken to contractors. Also, they have the same issues.
And Kwabena still, I don't think say school feeding for that school. From last term, off no, yeah, banning to 97 pesos on 23 cities. A ban for the 20 pesos are common. Almost a banning to ya omoka or to yamoka, we are a banning fanajuma.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Asamna, a very difficult situation. That you have various groups. Yenyanin NAPCO for Kran Kasai. We haven't spoken to NAPCO. And the point is, a man for Nashi, a man for Ebre, say, Maya Juma, I need my money. I am a Ghanaian. The person just need the money for survival. Yene one Auntie Lucy Kasai. So what ne kasa moi? Ahomete. But so see the medical catch on. We have a one-on-one with Mr. Vitus Adabo Azim, former executive director Ghana Integrity Initiative, and now anti-corruption crusader. And he's here. Uncle Vitus.
Yeah.
Akwaba.
Thank you.
Great. But let me ask you this question before we proceed to our main issue. Before you entered, we were talking about these institutions. We spoke to school feeding, caterers. We spoke to other various institutions that the government owed for like 2-3 years. They have not been paid. Now, when you check other sources, you realize that the government they have released the money, but then they have not been paid. I don't know if you are aware of such, occurrence in the system.
You see, there are two things. Either government has just announced that they have released the money, but hasn't actually released the money, or they have released the money to a middle person. This government, it does funny things, They have some middlemen. It passed some payment. They are virtually outsourcing all public services.
How do they do it? Can you help us, enlighten us on it?
No, you recruit somebody, maybe a firm that they have set up themselves. A firm that did not even exist. You recruit that firm and award a contract to them to do something.
Really?
There was one time that I had to write to the Pensions Regulatory Commission.
Okay.
They changed the law that from 2010, if you were to pay Social Security 18.5% and that kind of thing. Then later on they came out to say that those of us who were 55 years and above did not qualify to be there. But we had already contributed for some time. So they were supposed to refund some money to 1% of their sales to us. I followed and said, the money has been released to a company to reimburse up to date. I've formally written to the Pension Regulatory Commission, nothing.
But do you know the name of the company?
They mentioned the name of the company, but that's quite some time ago. I don't remember.
So then you should check from the company, or
you don't even know the office of the company. How do you go to check? They said the office was around Accra Girls area or something.
That is weird.
You see, you go to DVL now. You want the
but then if you ask them to show you where the company is, won't they show you?
Oh, I asked to see the money that the overall boss
of that company.
No, PURC. They won't allow you. Oh, he's at the meeting. He's this. You just give up. You go to DVLA. It's outsourced to a private. It is outsourced to a private company. Everywhere they are outsourcing public services, and yet you have employed people to sit in the office there. This property rate has it not been outsourced to somebody to collect?
Why?
Why? You have GRA that is well staffed, or at least it's not well staffed. They should staff them with qualified staff to do the work. Why do you outsource these things?
But is there any reason why they keep on outsourcing?
It's greed.
Greed?
Yes.
Somebody want chop.
I said some of them set up the committee, they compete themselves and then give the award the contracts to those companies.
Which previously it wasn't so.
Yes. Look, even if you go to offices that did not have deputy managing directors, now you have a deputy managing director in charge.
Can you please come closer to the microphone?
You have deputy managing director in charge of finance, deputy managing director in charge of operations, deputy managing director, all this. And then you say we have a huge wage bill. And the government has no money.
So
there are offices you go, people don't have chairs to sit. They are their employees.
So meaning the monies keep on flowing to middlemen.
To wrong people. Then you turn around and take my money, like you were talking about.
Yes.
First, it was banking sector cleanup. Some people lost huge monies. Then you come back that you are going to do this thing, haircut. So people's investments. So you have lost your investments twice. Is it fair?
From where you sit with your experience, can you tell us why the government is doing that?
I said it's great. It's personal accumulation.
So meaning they are stealing us?
Well, I haven't used the word stealing, but it's just great. Depriving you of what is yours, rightfully yours. Because there's no reason why we should be paying taxes and yet you can just go and close the bank and take people's money and not refund the money to them. Those banks had assets and liabilities. If you're absorbing the liabilities, the assets, you must also absorb the liabilities and pay the people that you owe. Why are you not paying?
Anyway, I think this issue will be discussed another time. But today we are talking about the Bank of Ghana losses. Then we have issues about Honorable Cecilia Dapa, also on the banner. We need to talk about those things. But before I start with you, quick one, let's go back and listen to the minority on the Bank of Ghana losses. They had a press conference somewhere last week, right? Yeah. And let me go back and listen to Honorable Ato Forsen.
To the central bank without parliamentary approval. This is illegal and criminal, and the NDC members of parliament will not allow this to pass. In fact, we will resist this. Both the mismanagement of the economy to the central bank without parliamentary approval. This is illegal and criminal, and the NDC members of parliament will not allow this to pass. In fact, we will resist this. Both the mismanagement of the economy and our finances, the spectacular recklessness and ineptitude of the governor and his team has called into question the wisdom of leaving him at the helm of affairs of the central bank. We now present to you the manifestations of the mismanagement and the ineptitude and the potential corruption at the Bank of Ghana, which was revealed by the 2022 annual report and the financial statement of the Bank of Ghana. 1. The report revealed that millions of Ghana cedis have been wasted on frivolous administrative expenses. The Bank of Ghana spent a whopping 131.6 million Ghana cedis on motor vehicle maintenance and its running in the year 2022 alone. In fact, this represents 114% increase over the previous year's expenditure on the same line item. Similarly, foreign and domestic travels of the Bank of Ghana cost the taxpayer a staggering 97.4 million Ghana cedis, which again is an increase of 246% over the previous year's expenditure. The Bank of Ghana also dissipated another 8.6 million Ghana cedis on directors' remuneration alone. This represents about 87% increase over the previous year's expenditure. Directors' remuneration, 8.6 million Ghana cedis. If you are to compare this to the previous year, this represents 87% increase over the previous year. This simply means that Ghanaians were charged a mismanagement fee to deliver the collapse of the central bank. The Bank of Ghana further claimed to have spent a colossal 357.9 million Ghana cedis on banking supervision expenses for the year 2022 alone. The report further disclosed that the Bank of Ghana spent a whopping 67.9 million Ghana cedis on computers expenses alone, whilst communication expenses also amounted to 32 million Ghana cedis. Communication alone, just to meet the press, they spent 32 million Ghana cedis for 1 year, the year 2022. The report further disclosed that an undisclosed expense of 287.8 million Ghana cedis was paid, undisclosed. They could not account for 287 million Ghana cedis. I beg to ask, is the central bank the Ministry of National Security? It's only the National Security that can announce an amount that is undisclosed. So an amount of 287.8 million Ghana cedis that they have failed to disclose to the auditors begs for certain questions. We also saw in the report that the Bank of Ghana indeed spent an amount of $2 million on gold watches alone. I don't know who they bought the watches for, whether it's for the governor and the deputies. $2 million only on watches. Perhaps the more troubling fact is that, having brought the Bank of Ghana to this terrible financial state, the governor and his deputies have found it prudent and expedient to invest $250 million, representing almost 3 billion Ghana cedis, on another head office building somewhere at Ridge. In our circumstances, this is the height of insensitivity in the management of the financing of a troubled country. A country that is in a major crisis. You have decided to award a contract worth $250 million, representing approximately 3 billion Ghana cedis, for the purposes of getting yourself a new head office. We believe that this is insensitive and it is not right for the governor of the central bank to go into this expedition at this time. The Bank of Ghana's illegal printing of money is responsible for the depletion of Ghana's external reserve, which resulted in the unprecedented depreciation we saw in the year 2022, which obviously is the main cause of the hyperinflation of 54.something% we saw in the year 2022. It is important to state that the governor of the Bank of Ghana breached Section 37 of the Bank of Ghana Act 2012, Act 612, and Section 60 of the Bank of Ghana Amendment Act 2016, Act 918. In fact, the governor breached the laws of the central bank, which calls for urgent action against the governor of the central bank. An estimated 850,000 people were further reported by the World Bank recently that they have, this singular act of the Bank of Ghana has pushed them.
That's it. Now, Uncle Azim, this is where we find ourselves with respect to Bank of Ghana. This is a direct statement from Bank of Ghana, reiterated by the minority in Parliament. What do you see here?
It is unbelievable that after financial sector cleanup, supervised by the Bank of Ghana itself is engulfed in these irregularities. It's very sad. Because you see, when the whole Bank of Ghana is a central bank of a government, is encountering these problems, it means that the whole financial system is collapsing. People don't have the trust in not only in the local people but even international agencies will not have the trust and confidence to interact business with the country. And that makes it very, very dangerous for us as a country. For example, when you are printing money, there are rules for you to print money. There are procedures to follow. But you remember in 2022, they denied that they hadn't printed money when the minority raised it.
Yes.
But you could see notes circulating with new dates. So were they fake notes? So if we cannot trust our central bank on the use of money, how can we be sure that monies that they are even printing all end up in the bank and do not disappear in the high seas into people's homes? And so it's not surprising that the dollar is just rising against the cedi. Inflation has gone up to 54. Now it has come down to 43%. But still, that's probably because of the IMF help. But if a country has inflation that's gone up to 54%, and you are the Bank of Ghana, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, shouldn't you even be resigning?
But then I know the Bank of Ghana brought out a response to the minority, which you have read it.
But I mean, why not? Definitely, you bound come out with the response.
And still, you are not satisfied with their explanation.
No,
because looking at the vehicle maintenance and other things, they gave out an explanation, a response to the minority, and you are still not satisfied with their explanation.
No.
Why?
You see, there are certain expenditures that are reasonable, and certain expenditures that you cannot justify.
Can you give me a typical example of where, in their explanation, you come into terms?
Okay, let's just talk about this ridiculous thing. 200,000 or million cedis worth of gold watches.
$2 million.
Gold watches.
Yes.
For who? For the president and his vice, or for the governor and the deputy governors? Why would a Bank of Ghana, the central bank of the country,
I heard that has been the practice. I may be wrong. I stand to be corrected. But I heard that has been the practice.
But we didn't know. Now it has come up. It has been the practice. So who are the beneficiaries? Shouldn't Ghanaians be asking that question? Especially when we're in an economic crisis. Especially when the city has deteriorated so much. And we are getting gold watches on record. It's not even that it has been smuggled in, but it is reported as a public expenditure of your tax money. And you're saying that Bank of Ghana can come out and justify that? Of course, you are talking about an office building. Yeah, you may say that it's justified because Standard Bank has moved from High Street and going to put it at Sankara. So maybe, as for an office building, you may say it's justifiable, especially as it is a long-term investment. It's not a one-day thing. So, Bank of Ghana is expanding, and so they may need more offices for their staff. So there are certain things that you can justify, but not everything that you can justify.
But you think in our current situation, do we put out $250 million for such a project?
But if you can put out $200 million for gold watches,
what $2 million?
$2 million gold watches. What would you find wrong with building up a 250 million office building, which is a long-term investment? I'm not saying that it's justified, but at least as for infrastructure, it may be necessary. But it's the frivolous expenditures that we should be worried about, because tomorrow the governor will not be there, but the bank of that structure will stay there. That structure will still be there for subsequent governors and all that. So as for the structure, I don't have a problem with putting up the structure, especially if their current place is not enough, and the cost is going to spread over a period. It's not just, I don't think they're going to finish that building this year.
Yes.
So that one is there. Of course, it is a corruption risk area because somebody may be benefiting from a mangrove as a result of that contract that has been awarded. We don't know. It's a possibility. So yes, but then as for infrastructure development, I think that it can be justified.
Addison, as the governor of Bank of Ghana, How do you see him in all this?
Well, you see, he appears to be the final authority. You know, I heard the majority leader saying that the Bank of Ghana is not answerable, is not mandated to answer to the parliament. So the question is, so the Bank of Ghana is so independent that it does not answer to anybody in this country? They can just do what they want? So if that's the case, then it means he's the be-all and end-all. And so anything that he does, he should be held blamable for it, especially if the outcome is negative.
Do you agree with the minority that the man should resign?
I agree that he should resign, but there's no, I mean, there's just the same noise that they made about the Minister of Finance, and they're all required. At the end of the day, they're going to say, oh, let's set up a bipartisan committee to invest. And the bipartisanship, you saw what happened in the case of the Minister of Finance. If you could not remove the Minister of Finance, who is a political appointee, how about the Bank of Ghana, which is supposed to be independent of them? They're just making noise. See, I think that sometimes politicians should not demand things that they cannot follow through.
But looking at the situation, and from the minority side, and from your explanation, then which means it will be in the interest of Addison to resign and go.
Yeah, but you cannot force it. I don't think that there's anybody that can force him to resign.
Nobody is forcing him, but in his own interest.
Well, you see, you're assuming that people have a conscience, people have the national interest at heart, and that they say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going, I've done the wrong thing. When I was coming, I was listening to the story of a Singaporean who drank something, took some medicine to die because of corruption.
Mm.
In Ghana, that's not common. It doesn't happen. People don't walk away. You see, our public service, especially if you are in at a certain level, is so attractive.
What makes it attractive?
You have a whole big bungalow with servants, watchmen, and drivers, and vehicles, more than one vehicle all around for free of charge. You don't spend a peso. And some of them are retiring on their benefits until they die.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, when they travel out of the country, the vehicles are fueled and left for their families to be using and all that. And their wives can just call the driver, please come and take my son to school and all that. So that is what makes it so attractive. People have built their private houses and left there, and they live in government houses and pay no rent, pay no light bill, pay no water bill. So and then apart from the fact that you resign, you retire on your salary. Why would people want to resign?
But somebody like Anderson, for instance, if he decides to retire from Bank of Ghana today, looking at his CV, his academic credentials, definitely, he will get another job somewhere.
Not as lucrative, not as lucrative as the current job, with the side benefits that go with it. You see, if you even put aside any illegal money that may be coming in as for that position,
yes,
the legal benefits alone. Look, I don't know whether any journalist has gone to look at the terms and conditions of service of some of these public officials.
Like a governor for Bank of Ghana?
Yes. You will not even see it.
They will allow you to see it?
Yes.
It's huge, right?
I think so. I haven't seen it, but I think that look, I think it's maybe, I don't know about GMPC, but Bank of Ghana and there are hardly any institutions that can compare in terms of the benefits of the top people in this country.
We have two ways in this Bank of Ghana issue. Either the current administration investigate the matter, or the next administration, we don't know who, will pick up the matter, investigate and prosecute whoever is caught culpable. Which one will you recommend?
But how can you talk about the current administration investigating the matter? What are they investigating? Are you saying that whatever is happening at the Bank of Ghana, the current administration is not aware of it? They haven't given it their blessing? Is it not this president that appointed the current governor?
Yes, he is. Yes.
Didn't some people were made to resign, or at least coerced to resign from the positions to allow them to come in? And you want this government to investigate this current I mean, don't think about it. And sadly, even if there's a change, they also be thinking of what to do. So they may not even be bold enough to investigate this administration.
So which means I could assume you don't trust the system.
Or nobody trusts the system.
You don't trust the system.
You yourself don't trust the system. Look, when a country is considered a failed country, you just drive out, street lights are not working, traffic lights are not working. When water flows once in a week, you are excited and you are grateful to water company.
So then you want to sit here and describe Ghana as a failed state?
If we are not yet there, we're heading towards there. Because what we have always succeeded in doing is to avoid failing to pay people's salaries.
Yes.
But school feeding, so virtually every mandatory payment is delayed or even ignored.
Can you come closer to the mic?
Or even ignored.
Yeah.
What else can you use to describe a state like that? It's very sad. It's very sad, and you don't know where we're going to. How can you, me a pensioner, I put my money into treasury bonds, government bonds, because for all these years we've known that the most reliable source of investment is in government bonds, because
at least with the government is secured.
Because government is an ongoing concern, it is secured. Only to wake up one morning and tell that you cannot get your investment back. As far back as May, I went and applied for some money from my investment to redeem part of it because I needed to do something. May, up to date, the bank hasn't told me anything.
May, June, July, August. So
I followed up. They say, oh, if they have arrears as far back as February. That they're now dealing with February requests.
So imagine you have health issues and you need to buy some medications for yourself.
So what happens? You die. If you have no other way to tend to. When you don't pay, now that they have national insurance, it appears they have been able to pay, get fund. We set up these funds because we wanted to compel the executive to pay monies into these funds for the operations that they are set up for. Yet there are always arrears. We're not able to pay. Yeah, we continue to pay taxes. We continue to spend. We continue to fly out of the country with big entourages, driving around.
With private jets.
This year alone, how many times has the president gone out? Sometimes some of the trips look personal flights. You are going to get an award in South Africa or something. And yet we are saying that we must all share burden sharing. Who is sharing the burden? It's the ordinary people that are actually carrying the burden, not sharing it with anybody.
Dr. Bobie has been a governor before at the Bank of Ghana. And he's now the vice president, meaning he is the head of the economic management team. Are you disappointed in him? Looking at the way they have run down Bank of Ghana.
You see, I don't have enough information about his effectiveness on the Bank of Ghana. But from what we hear, he's probably not that effective. He's probably not even seen as the head of that economic management team. Maybe just a figurehead. I don't have that evidence to show, but from comments from people, the media and all that, I don't know whether you can actually blame him for what is happening at the Bank of Ghana.
Why can't you blame him?
Because
he has been there before.
Yeah, but it's a group that is working.
Yes.
It's not one person.
Yes.
The fact that you are the head, if you are 10 people on the board and the 9 people say you have to do it this way and you are the chair, you cannot overrule. Besides, you are working with a government that has a cabinet.
Being the vice president and a former governor.
The vice president.
Who understand the details of Bank of Ghana.
By our constitution, the vice president only becomes important when the president is not there.
Mm-hmm.
And these days with the internet and all that, even if the president travels, I don't think the vice president has much power to take.
But at least this kind of reckless spendings, he should know that
yes,
look,
but
this will come back and bite us.
But if you know and your boss endorses, what do you do?
So which means it's beyond him. Is that what you want to tell
That's
us?
what I think. That's what I think.
Then there's no need for us to blame Bawumia for anything.
Well, I won't say that, but I'm just saying maybe we cannot fully exonerate him either. We don't have evidence to say that he's exonerated. You know, for some time he was not going to talk about the economy and all that kind of thing.
And why do you think he was not talking about the economy?
Because some of the things he could no longer defend. E-levy, for example.
Yes.
He kicked against it for some time. He talked against it.
At the initial stages?
Yes. But has he come out to say anything again? Because the government has gone ahead to implement it. The so-called cashless economy has failed. Because people now go back to carry cash because you don't want to pay any e-levy. We've talked. We scrape it, no. They have only removed 0.5%, but left the 1% still there. COVID-19 levy. There's no COVID-19 again. Yet it is there. That's even been now added to National Health Insurance levy.
Yes.
So, quietly increasing the National Insurance levy would tell us. I don't know whether they got Parliament's approval to do that. So these are the issues that you just can't understand this government doing. It's disappointing.
Are you disappointed in Akufo-Addo, President Akufo-Addo?
Oh yes, big time I'm disappointed. The way he was talking in 2016, the way his people were praising him as being incorruptible, and his commitment to fight corruption. It seems now he doesn't even care what happens.
You have worked with GII for some time. You have been in this business of fighting corruption for some time. Within these 7 years, what do you see?
You see, I've said it somewhere before. Every government that comes, the corruption is worse. Not just this government alone. Every new government that comes, corruption is worse.
So you want to tell us the Mels Mahama administration, corruption under Mels Mahama administration was worse than the Kufuor administration?
Yes.
How possible? How possible?
You look at the issues. You see, you look at records, you look at people's views, you look at these publications, and you know. It's just that now, partly because of the social media, a lot of these, more of them are coming out. Maybe that has also contributed to the perception that there's more and more corruption as the new governments take place. But if you go back and look,
under the Mels Mahama administration, the biggest scandal was the Woyome scandal. I don't know if you know any other apart from the Woyome scandal, which was like I think 51 million Ghana cedis.
yes,
Then you look at the Kufuor administration. There were other issues.
each of the governments there were corruption issues.
Yes.
It depends on how you look at them. But I'm saying that from a general assessment, every new government that comes in, corruption is worse than before the previous government, with the previous government. That is just to say that this government's corruption is more than serious. You see, this time,
It's Gangantuan.
this time you're talking about millions of dollars, not cedis. You're talking about millions of dollars. Somebody sitting part of government awarding contracts to himself or herself. You talk about what happened at the airport. You see, the sad thing is that something happens and a company just springs up less than 1 year, is awarded a big contract. Procurement procedures are not followed. And the failure takes up and you just pick the money and go. You don't even know whether the fellow is registered as a taxpayer, is paying taxes or not, and that kind of thing. And that is just sad.
Agazim, is it that the Akufo-Addo don't respect Ghanaians? Or that is his nature? Or that is how he chooses to govern us?
I think it's that Ghanaians are docile, and he knows the Ghanaians are docile,
What makes us docile?
so he can act with impunity, knowing that you cannot do anything.
So what do you think we should do? At this point, because it seems like everybody is helpless. Even those anti-corruption crusaders seem helpless. And right now you just said it, that it seems the Ghanaian is docile. I don't think we are docile. But from your perspective, prescribe something for us. What should we do at this point?
You were interviewing somebody before I came in.
Yes.
And he was complaining about people keeping quiet and not talking.
Yes.
He himself, has he led his group to go out there to demonstrate?
No.
To demand payment for their areas?
No.
So why does he think that he should say now somebody else will come out and talk for him? Because nobody wants to come out and talk.
Because people probably see the president as a tyrant.
No. The president cannot throw into prison 1,000 people in a day. If you come out and demonstrate, if you come out and pour into the streets and demonstrate in Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, Tamale, on the same day, the president cannot go and catch people and throw them into jail. They may shoot a few people, but that's what has happened in certain countries, and there's freedom.
So you are talking about positive defiance, spontaneous demonstrations.
Mass demonstrations, and demands for action. Otherwise, our leaders just act with impunity. After all, what can you do? We are just waiting for 4 years to go for elections again. And as we are preparing to go for election again, people are amassing wealth so that they can use it to campaign and win again.
With your prescription, it seems like you are giving up.
I'm tempted to give up. Because if the politician has no motivation to give you what is your right, and if you, the citizens, do not have the motivation and the courage to demand it from the politician, then where are you going to?
If there's a mass action on the street, are you ready to join us?
I cannot say, because I'm an old man now. I'm more than 60.
Wow.
But you saw that pensioners went and were picketing at the Ministry of Finance.
So the likelihood of you joining us?
Yeah, if there's a mass action, why won't I join? Because you see, if you want change, you must sacrifice. You must be willing to sacrifice to get the necessary change. But if everybody just relaxes in his house, well, this banking sector cleaner doesn't affect me, this haircut doesn't affect me, my children are there, they are taking care of me, of course, then they continue to do what they want. As for the parliamentarians, they did too. They make noise and then keep quiet. You see what Nana Ketia told the speaker when he went there. How can you, the listing by partisan committee, and you come out with nothing? When even you yourself, your 87 parliamentarians, demanded the Minister of Finance to resign, then you go to the committee and some of them were behaving like lawyers to the minister.
Yeah.
I mean, you just give up on the disciplines. But having said that, let's say that you should not just give up for your country. We should look for ways of handling the situation and not give up.
What other way? Because now it seems like the traditional authorities are somehow corrupt even more than the politicians, the clergy, that's the religious leaders, the Islamic clerics. I mean, talk about the statement. Everybody's neck is deep in there, and it's like there is no way out.
And that is why it's a bit difficult for people to talk. Because if you people have skeletons in your cupboards, you cannot talk because you don't know who knows that you have skeletons in your cupboard. So if you start making noise, they'll come and pull out those skeletons. So you're compelled to...
Not too soon. Do you want to see the youth of this country on the street?
Well, I don't want the youth to come out in the streets because it will be difficult to control them when they get angry and come out into the streets. It may not be a pleasant thing for the youth to come out.
I'm looking at the road from back of Ghana.
I've witnessed university demonstrations. They wake you up around 5 o'clock and they're sharing a patashi for you to drink and walk out. So that you don't even
They're sharing what?
A patashi.
Allah.
You don't even question why you are going to demonstrate. So they do not even know why they are going to demonstrate.
You just take it back.
And they join the demonstration. One time they intercepted us. You know, Champong Stand, they intercepted us at this prison place there, and we're jumping over the fence. You see, as for youth, if youth come, I think mature people can come out and demonstrate. But if you unleash the youth into the system, It will be difficult to control it.
No, but
that's what the government should be worried about. Should not encourage it to happen.
But here's the situation. It seems the president, as you rightly said some few minutes ago, that the president looks like, I don't care. Yeah. The vice president is not on top of his job. Somebody is just twisting and turning his hands. It seems like the governor for Bank of Ghana is not on top of his job. A reckless man sitting somewhere. So you can see the whole system collapsing.
Yeah, one day the whole system just collapse on us.
Yeah, but so now the youth sees their future a little bit bleak. At this point, what do you want them to do?
Yeah, but
they need to resort to the street.
But the adults should give the lead, not to allow the youth to take the lead. If the youth take the lead, we're not going to have a good situation. I wouldn't encourage it.
We may have adults like your age who may say the same thing, like, oh, I'm 60 years. I mean, they're my abrewa, my akokra. I don't know what is happening. Then the youth needs to take their destiny in their own hands.
Well, that's why I give the example of the pensioners going to pick it at the Ministry of Finance. It's not all adults that will say that they are too old to get involved. At least they should be there to guide the youth if they are told they are moving. Because we're in a democracy, we don't want anything that will get out of hand, such that we cannot control it. If it's a demonstration, peaceful demonstration with adults, the mature people guiding the youth, that's fine. But if they just wait until it erupts automatically, that's very dangerous.
What comes in mind when you sit down and do analysis on this Cecilia Dapa scandal?
It's a worrying situation. You know what?
Tell me.
Because that is an individual having $1 million cash in the house. At a time the dollar is in short supply and the city is fast losing its value. One appointee, the number of political appointees we have, ministers, parliamentarians, special advisors, special assistants, directors of communication, and all that. Do we know how much each of them has in terms of dollars in their houses? That week or the following day, there was a rumor that another government official was robbed around airport area with some
a presidential staffer
of some dollars.
Yeah, $114,000.
Then there was another rumor about some dollars found in a water tank somewhere.
Yeah, that's, I think, East Legon.
A tank somewhere.
Yeah.
So when you look at all these things, what can we say? How can we, at least if you have your money, you have acquired it legally, you are entitled to, you are allowed to go open a dollar bank account. Open it and put it there, at least so that the government will have access to it. Why do you keep it in your house? Because it's likely to be money laundering. It's marks of money. One, you probably have not acquired the money illegally. So if you go and pay it into the bank, then people will ask questions. Why did you get $1 million in your account to pay into your account? In fact, we have a law that if you pay such money in the account, they're supposed to draw the attention of the Financial Intelligence Center.
Okay.
To investigate the source of that money.
Okay.
So that is a way of avoiding identification of the source. So you keep it in your house and then you be spending small. Maybe you go and buy a house somewhere and pay in dollars. Then
you buy another one here, you pay it in dollars.
Then it becomes legal property for you. Nobody will question that. You see. So if everybody is doing that, I think last year the rumor was that even business people were buying dollars and keeping in their houses.
Yes.
So if we are doing that, are we not killing the country's currency? Why should even people be allowed to quote, even government agencies, you are clearing goods at the harbor and they are quoting dollars? Are we spending dollars in this country? So the government by its own policies is encouraging individuals to quote dollars. Look, if you go to South Africa, you cannot buy anything with anything other than rand. You have to go to the bank or the foreign bureau, change it into rand and spend.
I see.
Except maybe in the hotels, that one they know you're foreigners and you come. They take your passport details.
Even government affordable houses are quoted. Prices for the affordable houses are quoted in dollars. Yeah, they are quoted in dollars, and is sometimes frustrating.
Yes. Why would you even do that? People are paying allowances in dollars. You were talking about Bank of Ghana board of directors.
Yes.
$8,000 a month. You are working here, you have a salary. But by virtue of your position as a deputy minister or something of state, you are also a member of board of directors. So you take your salary at Ministry of Finance, you go to Bank of Ghana, you take a allowance 8,000 more than the salary of several people in your ministry. And you have a conscience to pay that money. And you're saying the Bank of Ghana came out to justify these things? A board member is not a full-time job. And your salary, your allowance alone,
$8,000
can pay several Ghanaians. There are people in this country that are any less than 1,000 cedis a month. And $8,000.
Some less than 500 Ghana cedis.
And you have a conscience to be taking this money and taking this money. Because your brain is so good that you are contributing so much to the development of this country, then it leads us to this. And you're sitting there and not doing anything about the malpractices that have taken place there. And you still have moral just going to go and sign and take those monies.
Are you satisfied with the way the security agencies are handling this Cecilia Dapa issue? Talking about the OSP office, talking about the Attorney General involvement and all that.
I think that the Attorney General should keep to the criminal aspect, deal with the accused persons, and leave the rest of the investigation to the Office of Special Prosecutor. The Office of Special Prosecutor is investigating corruption and corruption-related matters with regards to the source of the monies. Yes. He should do that. The Attorney General should not dabble in that.
Why?
Because that's not his... I mean, in the first place, the police already came out with their docket. Provided the ownership of the source of the money. The owners of the money. How can Attorney General come out to try to reallocate those monies? You mean the police never spoke to the owner of the one who came and made the complaint? She didn't say the money was hers, and the police falsely put it there that the money was hers. All of a sudden, Attorney General has investigated. Does the Attorney General normally investigate? Isn't it the police who investigate for the Attorney General to act on?
So do you think the AG is trying to cover up something for Cecilia Dapa?
I think that he's dabbling in things that he shouldn't be doing.
Do you think the AG is trying to cover up for Cecilia Dapa?
I haven't said that. I think that he's dabbling in something that he shouldn't be doing. That's not what he should be doing.
What would be the AG's interest in this?
Well, the AG is a Minister of State. Cecilia Dapa was a Minister of State. They are both NPP appointees. They always want to cover for each other.
So he's trying to cover up for her.
That's why some of us have been calling for the separation of the position of Attorney
General. So you think the AG is trying to cover up for her?
That's why some of us have been calling for the separation of the Attorney General from that of the Minister of Justice. We need an independent Attorney General, lawyer of the state, not a politician. And Nana Akufo-Addo promised in the campaigns leading up to 2016 that when he comes to do something.
Yes, I remember.
When he came, so it's a constitutional provision. He cannot amend it.
But we knew then.
Yes, but even that, we have had a referendum to create new riches. So if the separation requires an amendment, what do you call it, a referendum, we can say, what prevents him from doing that? We could have also had a referendum to decide that, if he thought that it was very important. We've said that the Office of Special Prosecutor, but it's not that independent because he's prosecuting on behalf. He has to get the full go-ahead of the Attorney General to prosecute any case. It's not totally independent. And from what is now happening, it even means that independence is questionable. Because there shouldn't be conflict between the Attorney General and the Office of Special Prosecutor in any case. But they're supposed to be working together. Now, with all this, if the Special Prosecutor decides that he's going to prosecute, and the Attorney General says, no, you can't prosecute, what happens?
So it seems we are not going anywhere with this matter.
We are going backwards. It's not even that we're not going, we're going backwards.
Yes, with your explanation, if I understand you rightly, it seems you are not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere. At worst, we're going backwards. There's no forward movement.
Agazim, now at this point, the OSP, from the OSP to the AG, then we hear Madame Cecilia has taken on Joy FM Multimedia. I don't know whether you have heard it. Claiming that
they released information that was what and what.
Yes. Then with the explanations from your very good friend and my brother Paul Adomotre.
What explanation? You see that I don't. I actually.
But you have followed Paul.
I don't follow him because I don't believe in the things he says.
You don't want to listen to him, or you don't want to follow him.
I don't want to listen to him because I don't have confidence in what he says.
You don't want to listen to Paul Adomoche because you don't have confidence in what he says.
Yes.
Assuming one day he wants to interview you.
I don't think he will want to interview me.
Why?
I don't know, but I don't think so.
Why?
I don't know.
But tell me, from his explanation about Sikane, yeah.
You see, sometimes when you just come out and say ridiculous things, you make yourself look funny. You see, look, even if we are close friends, if we are family members, and I'm being accused of something, why do you just come and try to defend me? Don't I have a mouth to defend myself?
He's a media personnel. He picks informations here and there. His duty is to go out there and put those informations out. Then we can do a proper argument.
They must be verifiable. Media people should not just go out and pick information from one person and come and put it out there as a general view. Otherwise, people will not trust you.
No, but at least his explanation with Angamo only should give you an idea how close he is to the woman. So, which means whatever information he's holding, I mean, it's credible.
So why don't you?
Or you don't believe in the Angamo story also?
So why don't you talk to the woman herself? The woman is not dead.
Probably she's not ready to talk about.
And you have been hired as a lawyer to talk for her? It's strange. You see, that's why we're in this situation. Because, like the man was saying, civil society,
yeah,
and the media, the religious leaders, the traditional leaders, do not want to come out and talk. You have one person here talking, and so you can easily be ignored. But if we're all talking with one voice, this is unacceptable, we cannot allow this to happen in this country and all that kind of thing, then the leaders will listen. So but even apart from not talking, some go beyond that and they are even defending the indefensible things. So you give them pressure. That's what creates dictators. The parents, this man is saying, because he's against us, that's why he's talking like this. But if you had virtually everybody saying that, no, this particular policy is wrong, don't do it, then you cannot say that because this man is supporting me and this man is against me, you are NDC or NPP. But we never come, you hardly get any issue, national issue, that everybody will come out and say, oh, this one is wrong, government shouldn't have done it this way. So you give government conflicting pointers to what is right, what is required of it. And they'll take the easy way, the more beneficial side to them. And that's why we're in this situation now.
Now, cousin, before you go, for the past 2-3 weeks, we have to deal with these issues about Bank of Ghana, Cecilia Dapa, and other scandals. I mean, we can't even remember some. You have worked with GRI for quite a long time. You have international friends. You talk to them. You have international links. What is our image as a country out there as we speak?
Well, for the past Since I retired from GI,
How many years now?
it's about 7 years.
7 years now. Okay.
I haven't actually traveled out of the country. Well, I've traveled out only once.
Okay. But you keep in touch with.
Yeah, but you know, people move a lot, so I cannot give a good idea of what the impression of outsiders is about Ghana. Because you see, the way civil society people work for 2 years, 3 years, and they leave. Some are on contract, they don't stay. So when I go to Transparency International now in Berlin, they will even recognize me.
Okay.
But when I was in service, yes, we'll meet every year for conferences and other workshops and that kind of thing. Then you talk.
But you have other friends you talk beyond the job.
Yeah, definitely.
And what is their impression so far?
Well, the impression, of course, is not the best. People meet and say, Ghana, what's happening? What's happening to you people? And what are you people doing in civil society? But that's all of it. And then, of course, you can look at the international surveys, corruption surveys, CPI, and it's not impressive. You just talked about the UNOC, ODC report.
Yeah.
It's not a good.
Too bad.
It's not a good image. And when investors want to come into the country, they look at all these things. There are personal experiences. Somebody from outside comes, he wants to invest in something, and a minister asks for upfront payment before they can even give you the license.
Kaudi Nanama.
Meanwhile, you go out there to ostensibly to woo investors.
Yeah.
Then when an potential investor is coming, you put obstacles in his way. How do you expect him to come? Some have turned away. So how do we progress? Yet we provide very lucrative tax incentives for investors to come. We spend huge sums of money for people to go out there and woo investors. Then when they are coming, you demand and discourage them from coming. You see, I've said that when an investor wants to come into a country, one of the things they look up to find out is how corrupt is the country. Those companies that will want to go with the corruption will want to know the best way to handle it. Those that do not want to engage in corruption will just turn away. You see. So both ways it doesn't work favorably for us.
Agazim.
Yes, sir.
We had like almost 1 hour conversation.
Yes.
And I feel like Ghana is on a blink.
I feel the same too.
You just mentioned something about we having a spontaneous demonstration across the country. But then there is this saying on the street, the Ghanaian is not angry enough. Do you agree?
It's not that we're not angry enough. I say we are docile. You are angry, but you don't have the courage to show it. And you see, the partisanship too is a lot in this country. If tomorrow there's a very genuine issue and people come out to demonstrate, another group of people come out and demonstrate against the demonstrators.
Yeah.
And that's why we are not succeeding. That's why you tend to say, oh, they are not angry enough. Even those who are defending some of these things, they are suffering, but some of them are paid to defend the system.
They are given 300 Ghana, 500 Ghana, they buy credit for them.
Maybe they are